Colts have nothing left to play for as far as where they can be in the playoffs. They're stuck. They're the only team heading into Week 16 that they know, well, aside from the Patriots, that they are going to be where they are right now.
Yep.
But they want a rhythm, and that's what Tony Dungy has said. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kerwin. Glad to be with you on the NFL Previews presented by Comcast. It's Houston, the 7-7, going to Indianapolis, the 2 seed in the AFC, 12-2. And Pat, you look at this team, and they're looking to remain unbeaten in the division. They're looking to keep that momentum going. They're looking to, well, what are they looking to do?
Well, first off, they want to stay healthy. And they want last year, the last game of the year, they still had something to play for, and that's why Peyton Manning threw 35 passes. Now, that's not the case. Jason's right on it. They're locked at the 2. They are subtly resting players on defense. They rested a couple guys last week that maybe could have played. Certainly, they probably are closer to playing this week, but they're not going to go again. They're going to go out there with what I like to call the JV on defense. Now, the defense in the last 5 weeks, as they've been resting players, still only giving up 16 points a game. Pretty darn stingy over there. And the depth players, the guys that were just running down on kickoffs, are starting to pick up sacks up front. So they're encouraged they can continue this way. Peyton will stay on the field with as many of those starting offensive linemen that are healthy, and they'll continue to move the ball and score points. Where they score 29 a game at home, that might come down to 24 or so, but that might be enough.
We're Peyton's old buddy, though, Marvin Harrison. He's missed 8 straight games with his knee injury, and Tony Dungy said he wants to get him in at some point before the playoffs. Is that realistic?
I think Tony's been buying time every week with another twist on that story. We're not going to see the guy till the playoffs. They're going to get him all the way to that bye. He doesn't need practice. He needs practice time. He doesn't need to play in these games. This guy and Peyton are wired together, so they'll be fine. In the meantime, the emergence of Anthony Gonzalez is very encouraging in case, in fact, Marvin really can't go, or Marvin gets hurt right away when he tries to play. I think they've found their guy in Anthony Gonzalez, and maybe long-term found their guy starting as soon as next year.
And we'll see how that works out, and if Marvin can come back, then you've got your slot receiver that
Correct.
Brandon Stokely used to be. On the other side, Houston, close game. The 2 they played earlier in September was a 6-point Indy win. That was with Matt Schaub at quarterback. They're playing Sage Rosenfels, and he's playing well. They're eliminated from playoff contention, but they're only 1 victory away from not having a losing season, and Sage Rosenfels has been a big part of that down the stretch. Is it possible, and I know they brought in Matt Schaub and gave him a lot of money, is it possible we have a quarterback controversy?
No, I think that last part of your sentence is why. A lot of money. I think Matt will go first, but here's an interesting truth. Sage has thrown 3 more touchdowns than Matt Schaub, and he's thrown 103 less passes, so I could build a case for Sage to be in a competitive situation come next summer. I don't think it'll happen that way. I think they really like Matt, and they're very happy to have Sage where he is. Remember, Sage's been around the block a couple times with a few teams and has done what he's doing now. This will be a big test against a very fast Colts secondary. He does it again, and you ask me the question next week, I might have a different answer for
All right,
you.
one last question about Houston. We know their defense and the secondary has struggled this season. Mario Williams is playing like a number 1 overall pick, snubbed from the Pro Bowl, but still playing very well. What else, aside from the secondary, is this Houston team missing?
When I look at the Houston team, I think the right side of their defensive line is terrific right now. Moby Okoye, you got to give him credit for some of those sacks that Mario's getting. I think Mario's had 9 sacks in the last 5 weeks. You got to give some credit inside to Moby Okoye, who started the season very fast and was leading the NFL with sacks. So what happens? You start concentrating on him. Mario got a couple of free goes early. Now they're back to doubling Mario. What do I think I'd like to see that? I'd like to see another big, stout, thick defensive tackle / nose tackle type. Someone that a Moby Okoye could work the stunt game off. Some big guy inside to make it stout for the running game inside. And then I'd like to see him do a little bit better at safety. And a vertical tight end. If you think about what the West Coast offense is, like a guy like L.J. Smith's going to be in free agency, I might make a run at an L.J. Smith if I was Houston.
You got to hope he can stay healthy. Owen Daniels has been very serviceable, but he's not a deep threat. All right, let's take everything into the computer. AccuScore is back with us here in Week 16. Throw it all in. 10,000 tests, and here's what we've got for this game. 74% time on the computer. Remember, it's all mathematical. Colts came out on top, Pat.
Yeah, I agree with this. I think the Colts are on a roll. They're 5-0 in their last 5 games. Houston's not a great road team. I believe they've won 3 games on the road or 2-5 on the road, so they're going to come into town and struggle. Andre Johnson will get a couple catches in this game, but I'm waiting for the other Sage Rosenfels to show up. The guy who was a backup in the NFL. I like the Colts.
All right, we'll see if it happens this weekend. It's a game you can see on CBS beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern. And for more on this one or any other here in Week 16, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com and watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For NFL.com's Pat Kerwin, I'm Jason Horowitz. Stay there.